Hello, how are you this morning? My name is Pablo Andres Sánchez Mirabal. Today I'll be your tutor for this lesson. We are going to talk about comparative and superlatives. So remember, this is completing our phase 3 for the subject Didactics of English, the third phase. And this is in order to complete the activity micro session. So I create this lesson and I will be presenting today this lesson to my tutor just because I am doing right now my practices in Estrategia Lilei, and for that reason I don't have a kind of a student who I could uh, present or teach this lesson. So let's start. I prepared for you these slides. So let's continue. So let's start with a brief activity to warm up to to start with this topic today. And the question for you it is, what is your favorite series around the world and why? I will answer the question for you, and then you can participate. My favorite series could be Medellin, just because uh, along the years I was a kind of hooligan to maybe get out of Colombia to meet and to live in any other part, maybe in the US, in the United States. But I realized a couple of years ago that we are located in one of the most beautiful countries on the world, and for that reason, someday I would like to live there. Actually, I was born in Medellin, and for that reason, I consider it my favorite city. Um, Now, you at your home, you can maybe think in your answer. Now, let's continue with the warm up activity. What do you think about this picture? Today, we are going to focus in describing and comparing pictures and photos. For that reason, we are going to have a little discussion about what do you think about the picture. So, this is a warm up activity. You can place on the commentaries and maybe some statements or some sentences. Actually, this is New York, one of the most known or the most popular cities around the world. As you can see, it's really evident. Here we are in Times Square. You can see all the advertising on those screens, those big screens, and uh, that is one of the most popular places on the world. Now, as you cannot participate during this session, let's continue. So the first topic we are going to talk about descriptive adjectives. Um, the descriptive adjectives are used or to qualify uh, are used to qualify or to describe a noun. Uh, there are some examples here. These provide extra or additional information about a noun. So, for instance, you know that a noun could be a subject, what it is the subject on the sentence. So, you can see here, as an example I prepare for you, we could just say a flower, yeah, we can just say a book, or we can just say a car or the car. But if you would like to provide extra information, I mean, any characteristic or any property about, so you can say a beautiful flower, that is going to be a descriptive adjective, an old book, Yeah, if you would like to mention about the characteristics of that book, a new book, um, a red book, a big book, yeah, an interesting book. So that is going to be a descriptive adjective about its physical characteristics. Let's continue. I have here a video we can watch to understand better what we are talking about. But actually, just for us, since I'm going to upload this video to YouTube as well. So if I play this video here on this one and I upload it to YouTube, then I could have kind of copyright problems. So I will share with you the link on the references, and you can look up the video uh, at any time. Let's continue here with the presentation. Now let's talk about the comparatives. So basically, comparatives are used to, as the statement says here, compare two or more items to see how they differ in terms of a specific quality or characteristic. So, in English, to make a comparison against anything. So, the most of the times we use uh, the two letters ER. The most of the times those are used for short adjectives. For instance, if you would like to refer for someone that is tall, maybe taller than you, that is the word that you use when you would like to say something like he's taller than me, es más alto que yo, yeah, or I am taller than him. Than, as you can see in the examples, is to indicate a comparison. I mean, uh, its literally traduction is going to be que, but just to make comparisons. That word only works to make comparisons after the adjective and after the comparative, excuse me. So, for instance, if you would like to be, um, um, I am, soy más rápido que él o es más rápido que yo. I am faster. The, the adjective is going to be fast, rápido. The comparative is going to be faster because you have to add er at the end, faster. And if you would like to make the comparison with against anybody else, so he is faster than to make the comparison against someone else. So he is faster than me, he is faster than she, he's faster than Shira, for instance. Those are for short adjectives because if we are referring to a long adjective that doesn't doesn't have a way to use er at the end of the word, so we should use the word more before the adjective. So for instance, more interesting, más interesante. As you can see, the word interesting, it is a long word, and for that reason, you can say something like inter interesting her, interesting her, because that is not the grammar rule we must follow in these kind of cases. Eh, there are a lot of examples. I have prepared for you a video, but one more time, as I mentioned before, um, we could um, we could be we could have a problem with the copyright. I have prepared a video for superlatives and comparatives, but in this case, mm, let me just explain more information about the superlatives. The superlatives, instead of a comparative, it is when you are talking about the most. I mean, you are not making here a comparison between each other or each any other object. Um, Here you're talking about a particular quality to the greatest extent. So I mean, mm, when you would like to say something like el más alto del salón, el más alto de la clase, you are comparing the person with uh, all the students maybe around him or in the class. So if you would like to refer to that person as el más alto, you should add est after the adjective. One more time, that is going to work only for short adjectives. So the tallest, as you can see in the example, he is the tallest on the classroom. She is the tallest on the classroom. Now, the same is going to happen. The same rule applies for long adjectives. You should apply the must before the adjective if you would like to say something. This is the most interesting book I have ever read. Este es el libro más interesante que he leído jamás. So basically, um, that is like the difference between a comparative, a superlative. When you are comparing with, uh, could be redundant, but that is how it should be. When you are using comparatives, you are just making a comparison between two objects or more. When you are using superlatives, is to express the highest degree of a quality or to show that something has a particular quality to the greatest extent. So, is when you are referring to someone or to any object like the most big, the biggest in that case, because it is a short adjective, the biggest, uh, the shortest, el más bajo. Um, so here on the video you will find more examples. So I will share with you that information for you in the chat or on the references. Finally, we have the comparatives of equality. So it is when you would like to basically make a comparison because but in they are sharing the same characteristic. So I mean in that case, for instance, you should say something like es tan bueno como o es tan grande como. Um, Give me 1 second. I'm going to charge my PC. 1 second. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for waiting there. I just was putting the charger on my laptop. Now let's continue. Basically, I was telling you that when you would like to maybe two objects or two people share the same characteristic. So basically, you would like to use uh, a comparative or equality. So, for instance, in Spanish, is when you say something like yo soy tan alto que él o yo soy igual de alto que él, yo soy tan rápido como él. Is that a couple of examples? So, when you would like to use or you would like to express in you would like to express yourself in that way, so you must employ the words as, and between them you should write the adjective or the adverb. For instance, we have here two examples. She sings as beautiful as a professional. So we are referring to her. So she's as good singing as a professional. She is as good as a professional singing, I mean. So what we are saying that she sings pretty nice, pretty beautiful as a professional does. Other example, he runs as quickly as an Olympic athlete. So it looks like he's really fast because he is as quickly as an Olympic athlete. So basically, for instance, maybe another example I could provide you is going to be something like um, he is as handsome as Brad Pitt, for instance. So we are referring to this person, to this boy, as someone really, really handsome. So let's continue. This is some examples of what is going to be a comparative for equality. Now I have prepared these two pictures. On the chat, you will need to write at least two comparative sentences between them, two superlative sentences, and at least two uh, comparatives or equality. You can use these pictures. If you don't want to use these pictures, you can use your own examples. Doesn't matter. This is one of the activities our students must should develop here in my class. Now let's continue here very quickly. I prepared some sentences that the students should fill the blanks here. I prepare 9 sentences at all, and there are three of every topic or every subtopic. We just um, review it. Um, so, for instance, this book is um, could be better. Could be this book is could be better. The new smartphone is as expensive as the older model. So the students should develop and they must answer through the chat, or we can work this in a collaborative way with all the group. Um, Finally, here I have developed a game for the students on the class. It is developed in Educable. I will share with them the link on the chat, and basically the game is about some statements. It is a kind of true or false, and the students should answer. For instance, hamburgers are more colorful than penguins. So we could say yes, for instance. Yeah, that is true. The moon is smaller than a football field. Um, that is actually no. Oh, my mistake. So basically, they lose a life there. They has 5 lives in total. Honey is sweeter than lemons. That is a true. So we have a point here. And basically, that is the game that I have developed for my students. We can continue here. Finally, here are the references I take into account to develop this presentation and the lesson. I will share with you the lesson. Um, Basically, thank you so much for your time you took to pay attention to this presentation. I understand could be a little bit short, maybe. I'm not sure how much time it I took to present it, but basically it is just because I don't have students to do it. For that reason, as you mentioned in the previous meeting we have, we can presentate or we can uh, teach this lesson to you as our tutor. Thank you so much for your time, and I really hope you have an awesome day.